Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 1st of February and let's start with today's newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, in this particular session, we are going to cover all the important articles from Hindu newspaper and apart from Hindu, important articles in other newspapers such as Indian Express, Times of India, PIB, etc. We are also going to take. Now, in this particular session, we are going to cover these particular article for mains examination, that is India-France relations, crisis in Korean Peninsula, national mentoring mission, fact-checking unit, which was recently announced by the government of India. For prelims examination, Shumang Leela, CPI, e-ink displays we are going to do. And for mapping, today we are going to cover Kyrgyzstan because recently Operation Exercise Khanjar was there in the news. Also, along with these mapping prelims and main specific coverage, we are going to cover one quotation for essay and mains answer writing. Okay, also current affairs, MCQ based, current affairs based MCQs also we are going to take in this particular session so that you get holistic coverage fine in this particular initiative. Also, I would like to tell you guys, you can download entire synoptic notes of this particular session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube below. Now, let's start. First of all, guys, let's take the MCQ questions for a good start. And please attempt these questions and leave your answer in comment box. So, these questions are framed from previous year's coverage. You will attempt it today. Tomorrow we are going to discuss their answers also. Okay. Now, the first question that we have, with respect to recent nomination of Maratha military landscapes to UNESCO World Heritage Site, choose the correct option. Timeline between which they were developed is 14th to 19th century. Forts were built across Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. Choose the correct option. Find and leave your answer in comment box. Then further moving on, next question. Ratle hydroelectric project, run of the river dam is located on which river? We have seen it was in news. So you need to give the right answer and then consider the following statement with respect to snow leopard. So we have seen snow leopard was also in news. It is estimated that Sikkim has largest population. Snow leopard has an IUCN status of critically endangered. Project Snow Leopard is earliest conservation program. Choose the right option. Now, previous days MCQ questions. So, consider the following statement with respect to Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary. We have seen that it was in news. It is located in Chota Nagpur Plateau region. It lies in the catchment area of Subarnekha River. Choose the correct option. So, what is the correct option? Correct option is C. That is both the options. It is in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Correct. Fine. It lies in the Subarnekha River. Yes. And where it is located? It is located in the state of Jharkhand. It is located in the state of Jharkhand near the city of Jamshedpur. So, very good. All who have attempted the questions and have left their answer in comment box. Others who are thinking to do, please start doing it. Now, why we are suggesting to mark your answers? Because you need to have a radical habit that I have to attend questions next day. So if you will have this thing in your mind previous day, that is today, you are going to do the current affairs in a very diligent manner. You will be very careful because a question can be framed. Then this question we have taken, consider the statement with respect to nitrogen hypoxia. We have seen that it has been used recently in US. It is a medical term for a state of excess nitrogen in the bloodstream. Yes, there is basically, no, it is used in India as a method for capital punishment. Now, what is the right option? The right option is A, one only. Now, understand this particular thing, nitrogen hypoxia. So, nitrogen hypoxia is when a person is pumped with a lot of nitrogen and because of that oxygen gets depleted. Oxygen gets depleted. And because of excess of nitrogen and lack of oxygen, a person suffocates. A person suffocates. So, that is nitrogen hypoxia. It is used as a method of capital punishment in India? No. Fine. So only one. A. Consider the following statement with respect to Sapinda marriages. It is covered under Special Marriage Act. Fine. No. It is covered under Hindu Marriage Act. These relations are legitimate and allowed. No. These relations are illegitimate. They are not allowed. Sapinda marriages are marriages between the people who are closely related with common lineage. So what is right option? Right option is D. None of the above. So this is about the previous day's questions and you need to aim that your all three questions should be right. And guys, also one more thing I would suggest you that please today onwards when you are writing your answers, when you are writing today's answers in comment box, also please mention that how much score you got in previous day's questions. That is 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, or 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3 is best, means your all the answers were correct. Okay, so have this particular streak of writing the score also and aim to get the perfect score, that is 3 out of 3. Now, let's start with the today's session. So guys, in every class, we start with the GS quotation. Today, we are going to take quotation from Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. So Woodrow Wilson says, there is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good, to work for the common good is the greatest creed. So, service to man is service to God. Service to man, service to God. No ritualism is more important than human service. No ceremonies are important than the human service. To serve humanity is the greatest service. And this should be the motto of civil servants also. You can use this particular idea, you can use this particular quote in GS paper number 4, GS paper number 4, ethics, human values, as well as in GS paper number 2. In GS paper number 2, governance and related answers, we can use it. Fine. So that is all about the quotation for today. And now let's take first article for today. First article for today. Okay. Also, guys, so Roundup 2024 batch orientation class has been conducted, and we are starting with this Roundup 2024. If you have not enrolled in this particular batch up till now, you can enroll in it even now. This particular batch aims to cover entire last one year current affair in theme based manner, where we are going to cover current affairs in themes such as environment, economy, social justice, international organization, and all the important sources such as Down to Earth, PIB, Indian Express, Hindu, etc. will be covered. Every class will be followed with MCQ questions, so you can understand that how well you are learning. Also, these particular classes are going to be held live. However, recording will also be available after the class so that you can watch it. Okay. Now, batch has just started. You can enroll in this particular batch through visiting our website. Also, link for enrollment is given in the pinned comment. There also you can enroll. So if you are still worried about the current affairs, I will advise you to enroll in the course. Now, let's start with the first article for today. So, first article that we have is with respect to India-France relations. India-France relations. Now, recently, on Republic Day celebrations, French President Mr. Emmanuel Macron, he visited. With this, France has become the country which has received maximum Republic Day invites from India. Also, we find this particular thing that when we talk about the India-France, this particular visit shows a kind of a growing synergy between India and France. Understand this particular thing. Just 6 months back, Indian Prime Minister visited France for the Bastille Day celebrations. And after 6 months, now Mr. Emmanuel Macron has visited to India. Now, in this particular article, guys, we are going to analyze that what are the points of convergence between India and France. Whenever you talk about any two countries, fine, there are certain points of convergences and there are certain points of irritant that defines the relations between that particular country. Also, guys, if you are following very much regularly, you might also be knowing that we have just couple of days back discussed the entire India France France mapping. Also important border bodies around France, neighbors around the France, fine, all that we have also seen. Fine, so question might be asked on this particular line. So mapping part we have already done also. Now, when we talk about, guys, India France relations, a minute. When we talk about India-France relations, so basically we find this particular thing that strategic partnership between India and France was started way back in 1998. Now there are certain special aspects of India and France relation. What are these special aspects? Number one, we find this particular thing. Number one, we find this particular thing that there is no baggage. There is no baggage between India and France relation. For example, guys, when we talk about India and UK, fine, there is a colonial history that often comes in between. When we talk about India-US relations, USA has imposed sanctions on India after the nuclear test of India. Also, we find this particular thing that USA has provided the support to Pakistan during the period of the Cold War because India was not aligned with the USA's camp. India neither aligned with USA nor aligned with USSR, but USA has this particular perception that India is more favorable to USSR. Okay, and John Foster Dulles, JF Dulles, he also said this particular thing that India's non-aligned movement NAM is most immoral policy. So with USA there is baggage, with UK there is baggage, with Pakistan we have a history of war, with China also same thing comes. But when we talk about major power, France number one is a permanent member in UNSC, and being a major European power, there is no baggage. So India-France relations are on a special footing. Secondly, guys, both India and France maintain strategic autonomy. Both India and France maintain strategic autonomy. Now, what is strategic autonomy? Strategic autonomy is based on the concept of transactional approach. It is based on the concept of the transactional approach. Means that the countries will take their stands on case by case basis. They will not have any permanent friend, they will not have any permanent enemy. The countries, for example India, neither India is in a permanent camp, nor India is nor India sees anybody as a permanent enemy. Our relations will be guided by a transactional approach. Case by case basis we are going to move forward. So both countries respect the strategic autonomy of each other. Thirdly, guys, relation with the France is also special because France does not interferes in the internal matters of India. France very rare or does not comments on the state of democracy in India, does not takes very vocal viewpoints on the issues such as Kashmir issue, Article 370 and all such kind of things. So this also we see that the France respects India's democracy and India's internal affairs. So these are some very important aspects of India-France relationship. Very important aspects of India-France relationship. Now, when we talk about, guys, other points of convergences, we find this particular thing that in 1998, India conducted its nuclear tests. India conducted its nuclear test and India declared itself as a nuclear state. At that point of a time, Western countries, they got offended and they followed with imposing sanctions on the with adopting tough stand against the India. But France continued its strategic relationship. Also, what has happened? France, being a permanent five country, has also supported the idea of a permanent seat for India in reformed UN Security Council and has supported nuclear program and has also provided nuclear technologies to India. France has also provided nuclear technologies to India. Then also, guys, what has happened after collapse of USSR? Fine. So when the world might have moved towards unipolarity because France got sorry, we saw that during the Cold War, there was a bipolarity. On one hand, USA, on another hand, USSR. As USSR got collapsed, there was a thing that there might be a unipolarity that come, but France and India both pushed for multipolarity. Both pushed for multipolarity. So this is also where convergence between India and France comes. Then also, you see this particular thing, guys, that India is a resident power in Indian Ocean. Okay, for example, islands such as Reunion Island and many such islands are there in the Indian Ocean, which still comes under the French territory. So because of that particular thing, France is very much interested in stability and rule-based order in Indian Ocean. And in this capacity, recently France also came out with Indian Ocean policy, and France is collaborating with India actively in Indian Ocean region. Fine, fine. So this is something that has happened, and India has been chosen as the preferred partner. Now, understand this particular thing. Geopolitics is shifting from Euro-Atlantic to Asia-Pacific. Asia-Pacific. And 21st century is going to be the century of Asia. France has understood it and has chosen India as a preferred partner. So this is another point of convergence. Then, guys, the next point of convergence that comes here is that strategic dialogue of India and France. It got started on the basis of three pillars. These three pillars were nuclear, space, and defense. And over the years, these three pillars have expanded to such as counter-terrorism, intelligence sharing, cyber security, artificial intelligence, machine-to-machine communication. Fine. All these particular things, cooperation has expanded. And cooperation is not only between government to government side, but also private to private cooperation. Fine, has also happened. Now, as we talk about the cooperation between India and France, defense cooperation is a very special one, and in a defense cooperation I am going to discuss with you certain examples that how India and France have further leveraged their relation. Now in this particular capacity, in this particular capacity in this particular capacity you see this particular thing, that first of all, six six Scorpion submarines, they have been built by recently Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. We have discussed these six Scorpion class submarines also. Now these particular submarines, they are being developed with the help of a technology transfer that has been given by the French Naval Group. French Naval Group. So this is first example. You already might be knowing about the Rafale deal. So 36 Rafale aircrafts have been procured from France. Now, in this particular Rafale deal, there is one very important aspect, that is 50% offset rule. 50% offset rule. Now, what is offset rule? Offset rule was really offset rule was brought by Ministry of was brought by India in 2007. As per offset rule, if any deal has happened with a foreign vendor, certain amount has to be reinvested back in India. Okay, for example, if a deal of 50,000 crore rupees have happened with another country and we are doing some procurement of 50,000 crore rupees, some percentage has to be reinvested in India. And in Rafale jet, there was 50% offset target, means 50% of the amount that will be given, okay, the 50% of the amount will be reinvested back in India. So around 25,000 crore rupees, France is going to invest in the aerospace industry, which is a good thing. Then further, as we discuss the cooperation, recently what has happened, India-France defense industrial roadmap has been prepared. This is when Emmanuel Macron visited recently India. As per this India-France defense industrial roadmap, France is helping India to build its capability to develop industrial base, and it will further help in fulfilling Atmanirbharta that India has chosen in 2020. So this is again very important. Also guys, C-295 aircraft, military transport aircraft assembly line has been started in Vadodara. Also Safran of France and DRDO of India, they are also further collaborating that how defense technology transfer France can provide to India. So Safran of France and DRDO is further moving on the technology transfer. And one very important example is that Safran will be providing technology to the DRDO to manufacture aircraft engine for fifth generation aircraft, and 100% transfer of technology will be there, which is a very very good example. Also guys, in space sector also collaboration has recently happened. So basically New Space India Limited, now New Space India Limited is an arm of ISRO. It is an arm of ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, fine, government of India company. It comes under Department of Space. Now ISRO, New Space India Limited and French satellite New Fre so, New Space India Limited has signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the France. And what is going to happen? Fine. Ariane Space, and NSIL. They are going to collect, basically in a collaboration, they are going to launch the satellites. In collaboration, they are going to launch satellite. And then finally, people to people ties are very important in any international relation. And in people to people tie, students are going to France, and we find this particular thing, that number of student visas that are being given by France, it has considerably increased over the last few years. Also, 5-year Schengen visa is being provided to Indians who pursue postgraduate course in France. So all these particular things shows that on defense, on space, on people to people ties, on the matters of sovereignty, there is cooperation and collaboration between India and France. So this is all about this particular article. And guys, it is a ready-made answer for your mains GS paper number 2. Ready-made answer for your mains GS paper number 2. Fine. That is all about it. Now moving to the next article. Now, a minute. Okay. Fine. Bombay High Court delivers a split verdict Bombay High Court delivers a split verdict on validity of Center's fact-checking unit. Okay. Now, guys, we are going to see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2. With respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to governance, as well as issues related to freedom of speech and expression versus fake news. Okay. Now, this is going to be a very important topic for our GS paper number 2 mains. Now, guys, first of all, I would like to clear one particular difference between misinformation and disinformation. Now, what is misinformation? Misinformation is wrong information. I received some wrong information and I am passing this information to other people without knowing that this information is wrong information. This is the spread of misinformation. Then there is also one word, disinformation, spread of disinformation. Disinformation is distorted information. I had correct information, fine, but what I am doing, I am deliberately distorting this correct information, and then I am spreading this information. I have some inferior agenda. I have some kind of an ulterior agenda. So this is disinformation. Misinformation is a spread of wrong information. Disinformation is a spread of distorted information, which has deliberately been distorted for some agenda, some propaganda. Now, we find this particular thing that with the emergence of social media platforms, lot of distorted news, lot of campaigns, hate propagandas, etc. they spread. Okay. Often what is happening, fake news is being taken by people as a truth and it is just spreading as wildfire. It leads to riots, it leads to social tensions, it leads to law and order problem. So basically what happened recently, government in their IT Intermediary Guideline and Digital Media Ethics Code Amendment Rule 2023, or in simple ways, IT Rules Amendment 2023. IT Rules Amendment 2023. Government provided that we want to control this fake news that is spreading and is leading to social tensions. And for that particular thing, government said that we will come out with a fact-checking unit. We will come out with the fact-checking unit. This fact-checking unit will declare that X news is fake news, Y news is right news. This news is wrong, this news is correct news. So it will be a dedicated fact-checking unit. Right now, there are many private organizations such as Alt News, etc., which do this particular work of the fact verification. But we did not had any institutionalized mechanism. So government says that we will notify a fact-checking unit under the IT Rules 2023. Okay. Now, what happened? Many of the activists, they did not like this particular idea of fact-checking unit, and they have approached the Bombay High Court saying this particular thing, that by this fact-checking unit, government is trying to become sole arbiter of truth. Basically, news which is going against the government line of thought, they might declare it as fake. Anything which is supporting or which is strengthening the government's ideology, government's viewpoint, that news will be branded as a true news. So only government should not be the decider of fact. Only government should not be the sole arbiter of truth. Okay. It is said that therefore fact-checking unit under the government is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. Now, basically, government has provided this particular thing that if suppose there is a piece of information, and if this piece of information is flagged as fake, or misleading or distorted, then fact-checking unit, now who will declare a news as fake, distorted? Fact-checking unit. If that thing has happened, then social media platforms need to take down that particular news, Government can ask them, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, to remove this particular content, fine, which has been identified as misleading by the FCU. Now, if you don't take down that particular content, you will lose your safe harbor status under Section 79 of IT Act. Now, a question will come in your mind, what is the safe harbor status? Now, understand this particular thing. On Facebook, YouTube, so much content is going on. A lot of content is fake, lot of content is hateful, lot of content is discriminatory. Now, can you go and let's say arrest Mark Zuckerberg because on his platform, that is Facebook, this hateful content is going on? No, you cannot arrest him. Why? He has an immunity. This immunity is called as the safe harbor protection. Safe harbor protection is a type of immunity that is given for to these social media platforms, that they will not be criminally prosecuted, they will not be charged if some hateful wrong content is floating on them. Now government says that if you want to enjoy this safe harbor protection, you need to take down this content. If you don't take down this content, we'll take away your safe harbor and then we will file complaint against you. You have to contest this matter in the court. So this is something that has happened. Now, basically, the petitions that have been to Bombay High Court, what they have said, that these amendments violate freedom of speech and expression. How freedom of speech and expression? Any news can be branded as fake and can be taken down by the internet. Suppose I wrote a post on Facebook that has been declared as a wrong information, misleading information, will be taken down. So my freedom of speech and expression is getting lost. Okay, it has been said that freedom of speech and expression is not absolute. There can be the reasonable restriction, but the test of reasonable restriction is not getting fulfilled. It is not getting fulfilled. Also, what is happening? It violates the right to practice trade and profession under Article 19(1)(g). Okay, so basically it has been provided that these social media companies such as YouTube, Facebook, etc., they should not be forced to abide by these particular kind of things. They also have the right to trade, right to occupation. So on these particular grounds, this fact-checking unit was challenged in Bombay High Court. Now what has happened? Bombay High Court has given its decision, but split judgment has come. So there was a division bench, means a two judge bench was there. Both the judges have ruled opposite. One judge says that yes, fact-checking unit will be unconstitutional, should not be constituted. Another judge has said that it is correct way. We need to control fake news and fact-checking unit will help. So you can go ahead. So because of that, this particular matter has now again got struck. Now this matter will go to the three-judge bench and then we will see that what will happen. Also guys, in the past there was one article that came in Hindu newspaper and it was said that often there are many issues which are very controversial. So division bench or the benches having even number of judges, okay, should not be there. Okay, now moving on to the next article. Okay, so next article, guys, we are going to discuss specifically on Korea, because main specific article we'll discuss first. Okay, so Korea. So basically, the article is rising tensions in Korean Peninsula. Rising tensions in Korean Peninsula. Now, if you guys remember, few days back we have covered in mapping that North Korea has fired certain missiles in the waters of South Korea. Now, this particular firing of missile in the waters, which now first of all these waters are disputed also. North Korea says that they fall in their zone. South Korea says they fall in their zone. But the missile that has been fired by North Korea, it has opened up new confrontation between North Korea and South Korea. It has opened up new confrontation in North Korea and South Korea. Now, first of all, guys, what we are going to do? We are going to discuss, we are going to first of all see, we are first of all going to see Korean Peninsula. We are going to see Korean Peninsula. So we have discussed this already in the mapping, but again, let's see Korean Peninsula. Okay. Fine. Okay. So here you can see Korean Peninsula. So basically, guys, here we have North Korea. Fine. I hope it is visible to all of you. Yes. So here we have North Korea. Here we have South Korea. Here we have South Korea. Fine. In between, we have DMZ. DMZ. Fine. Demilitarized zone. Now, this is the boundary between North Korea and South Korea. Now, we see this particular thing that the North Korea, it touches China, as well as North Korea, it makes boundary with Russia also. China and Russia. Now, when we talk about South Korea, we find this particular thing that South Korea, here towards the western side, we have Yellow Sea. Towards eastern side, we have Sea of Japan. Towards the eastern side, we have Sea of Japan. Then here we have Korea Bay. Here we have Korea Bay. Okay. Then here below we have Japan. So Japan is on south of South Korea, and between Japan and South Korea, we have here Korea Strait. We have here Korea Strait. Korea Strait is there. Okay. So basically, guys, recently North Korea has fired a missile in this particular region. Because of that particular thing, it is being said as an act of provocation by South Korea. Act of provocation by South Korea. Also, one more important development has happened. Now understand this thing. When we talk about North Korea, from very long period of time, North Korea has held this particular official policy that one day we will merge South Korea with the North Korea and entire Korea will be unified. Entire Korea will be unified. But recently, North Korea has changed this particular policy. North Korea has branded South Korea as an enemy state. Now they say that we don't want to merge South Korea with us, it is an enemy state. With this change of stance, there might be new confrontations that will open up between North Korea and South Korea. Okay, so we are going to discuss these particular tensions in little bit more detail. Important mappings. North Korea makes boundary with China and Russia. South Korea makes boundary with North Korea land boundary. But on the south, its naval neighbor is Japan. Okay, fine. Yellow Sea, Korea Bay, Sea of Japan, Korea Strait. Fine. Now, moving on. Moving, moving on in this particular direction. So, basically, guys, as North Korea has fired these missiles, South Korea has ramped up its cooperation with USA, and we find that this kind of a polarization is going on. Now you see this particular thing. Ukraine is more aligned towards the West, and on another hand we have Russia. This polarization has led to one war already going on in Russia and Ukraine. Now on another hand, we see this particular thing that South Korea is drifting towards the West, that is USA. North Korea, it gets ideological support from Russia and China. So North Korea, Russia, China, one group. South Korea, USA, another group. This can become a third front of war right now in the world. On one front, Russia-Ukraine war is already going on. Then in Israel war is going on. Now the third front can open in this particular region. Maybe it is between North and South Korea, or it could be between China and Taiwan. So tensions in this particular region, they are increasing. So what South Korea has done? South Korea has responded by increased military drills with USA as well as Japan. Now, when we talk about, guys, Korean Peninsula, understand this particular thing that Korean Peninsula, okay, earlier it was under the control of Japan, but after Japan got defeated in the World War II, Korean Peninsula became independent. Now, guys, what happened? As Cold War got started? We found this particular thing that North Korea and South Korea, fine, became ideologically different. Also, what happened? We find this particular thing. North Korea became more aligned towards USSR. South Korea became more aligned towards the America. And in 1950 to 1953, there was the Korean War also happened. In this particular Korean War, what happened? Entire North Korea run over to South Korea. But then the USA intervened and South Korea was restored. And since then, rivalry between North Korea and South Korea is going on. North Korea is aligned towards Russia and China's ideology. South Korea is aligned towards the USA's ideology. Now, understand this particular thing, guys. When we talk about present times, we find this particular thing that the biggest challenge that is there, it is nuclearization of North Korea. North Korea in the past has been denuclearized briefly between the period of 1994 to 2002. So, denuclearization of North Korea happened between 1994 to 2002. Why? Because there was an agreed framework that was signed between USA and North Korea, and North Korea said that okay, we will halt our nuclearization program and everything. But what happened in 2003? This particular agreed framework ended. North Korea withdrawn from it and said that we will pursue our independent nuclear policy. But After this, in 2003, there was another round of talks that got started with North Korea to ensure that it gives up its nuclear weapon. And this is six-party talks that got started. In this six-party talks, South Korea and North Korea were there, China was there, Japan was there, Russia was there, and USA was there. Okay, these six-party talks, fine. Uh, these six-party talks, they continued, and in 2005 North Korea said that they will forego of their nuclear ambitions, they will not build nuclear weapons. But what happened? North Korea backtracked, and in 2006, that is 1 year later, it again did a nuclear what it did the nuclear test in 2006. And since then, North Korea has never come back and has committed has developed a wide nuclear arsenal, which is a challenge for entire world, Now, when Donald Trump came to the power, Donald Trump tried to denuclearize North Korea, and he started some talks with uh, Kim. Okay, but nothing successful happened in this particular capacity. And now what has happened? Fine, Mr. Kim of North Korea, he now declared that South Korea is an enemy state. South Korea as an enemy state. Old view that they have, that is to merge South Korea with North Korea, they have left this particular thing. Okay, and after this particular declaration, what happened? Solid fueled missile carrying a hypersonic warhead was launched. Now, hypersonic missiles are those missiles which travel faster. Hypersonic missiles are those missiles which travel faster than the speed of sound. Faster than the speed of sound. Now, these particular missiles, fine, theoretically, they cannot be intercepted, or it is very difficult to intercept. And North Korea testing a hypersonic missile, having this technology, has threatened the entire world countries, had threatened the entire world countries. Now, also one more dimension is developing in this particular way. Now, see this particular thing. What has happened? Russia is already facing the war misery. Russia is already facing the war misery. Russia needs the arsenal to continue fight this particular war. And Russia may be collaborating with North Korea. Russia may be collaborating with the North Korea. Is it clear or not? Fine. So Russia might provide the technology to North Korea, and North Korea will provide its weapons to the Russia. Also, China is also supporting, because between China and USA, confrontations have increased recently. So this dynamics that is emerging here again can lead to certain challenges for global peace. Okay, so that is all about this particular article. Now, moving on, and let's discuss the next article. Okay, NCTE awaits ministry nod to roll out national mission for mentoring. National mission for mentoring. Now, let's discuss this particular article. Okay, this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, mains, education, social justice related issues. Education, social justice related issues. Now, first of all, let's understand basic background information, and then we'll go in this particular article. So basically, what happened? What happened? National Education Policy was launched in 2020. National Education Policy was launched in 2020. This particular policy was India's third education policy. It was India's third education policy. First education policy came in 1986. First education policy came in 1986. Sorry, my apologies. Came in 1968. Got amended 1968. Second education policy came in 1986. 1986. It got amended in 1992. 1992. And third education policy came in 2020. 2020. That is National Education Policy 2020. It gave recommendations with respect to school education and higher education. School education and higher education. Now, in National Education Policy, there was a provision, that is National Mission for Mentoring. National Mission for Mentoring. What was this National Mission for Mentoring? Now you see this particular thing, that uh, experienced teachers, professors, okay, the people who are distinguished experts in their own field, they will be enrobed as mentors, and they will teach pedagogical skills to teachers. New aspiring budding professors, they will inculcate skills in them. Okay, so that is National Mission for Mentoring. National Mission for Mentoring. Now, basically, National Council of Teacher Education, National Council of Teacher Education has proposed that We should expand the pool of mentor teachers. We should expand the pool of mentor teachers. So there are 60 mentor teachers that are there right now, which impart skill to other teachers. We should increase this particular tool to at least 1000 mentors. Why? Because it will go in line with the national mission for mentoring. It will go in line with the national mission for mentoring. Now, basically, basically, what these mentors are going to do, these mentors, they will provide assistance to other teachers. For example, they will provide them instructional modules on Hindi, mathematics in primary, middle, secondary section. Okay, how to impart instructions in Hindi, in English, how to impart instructions for the field of mathematics. Okay, digital education, how to use computer, how to use digital board, how to use PPT, how to ensure that by using digital technologies you can make learning fun. Okay, socio emotional learning. Okay, inclusive education, disability rights learning. Okay, assessment methods, all many such kind of things that are there. These mentors are going to teach to the other fellow teachers, to the other fellow teachers. So all these particular skills will be taught by these mentors. Now, national mentoring mission, I told you, fine. It aims to create a large pool. It aims to create a large pool of outstanding professionals, experienced professionals who are willing to give their methodologies, who are willing to give their support to the young teacher. Fine, this is something. Now, what has happened? Basically, funding was given, but very small funding was given. Now, NCT is waiting that Ministry of Education gives its budget and give its a green signal so that it can move forward with National Mentoring Mission. However, this is a very important scheme and should not be postponed anymore as of now. Okay, so that is all about it. Fine. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. A minute. Fine. So that is all about this particular article. And now let's move to next article. Now, basically, guys, this particular article we are going to see with respect to the UPSC CSE prelims examination from stage to streets. I have taken this article from Indian Express. Manipur's Shumang Leela performers grapple with survival amid ongoing ethnic strife. So basically, you guys already be knowing this thing that in Manipur, crisis is going on, and many months have happened since this ethnic crisis is going on between Metis and Kuki tribes. It got started. Okay. Now, why this crisis got started? Because Metis, they wanted the scheduled tribe status. Fine, which was not liked by the other communities such as Kukis, etc. Okay. Now, moving on, this article is different, not on the Manipur crisis. This article is on Shumang Leela. Shumang Leela. Shumang Leela. Important for our art and culture section of history. Okay, art and culture section. Shumang Leela. Now, when we talk about Shumang Leela, so basically, what is a Shumang Leela? Shumang Leela is the traditional form of theatre in Manipur. It is the traditional form of theatre in Manipur. Now, this Shumang Leela, here artist, what they do, they perform, they perform. This is a theatre. This is a theatre. So drama will be performed. This particular drama would be oriented towards educating the public about social, political, and economic issues. Economic issues. This particular theatre, it is comic in genre. It is a comic in genre. So there is comic, there is a satire, there is a basically there is all such kind of a different genres. So it is comic in genre, and performance will be done by the theater artist to educate people about these particular themes. Now, when we talk about the Shumang Leela, this particular form of theater, it has developed from Lai Haroba. It has been developed from Lai Haroba. What is Lai Haroba? Lai Haroba is a religious festival that is celebrated by Methi people who have settled in Manipur. So Lai Haroba, religious festival of Methi people. From Lai Haroba, a specific type of theater has got developed, and this theater is Shumang Leela. Theater is Shumang Leela. Okay. Now, this particular form of theatrical performance used to be held in the shrines, in the neighborhood shrines which are dedicated to Umanglai deities, to the Umanglai deities. And this particular theater, it is performed in the month of February, and February to May, June. Now, February has got started and this ethnic tension is not going down. So artists who perform this particular theater in the month of February, March, April, they are facing problem and their livelihood will get impacted. Their livelihood will get impacted. Now, when we talk about this particular theater, I already told you genre is comic. There are two types of Shumang Leela. One is Nupa Shumang Leela. Now, the Nupa Shumang Leela, it is performed only by men. Even the role of women will be done by men. Okay, so women characters role will also be done by men. Okay, these men are called as Nupi Shabis. Then there is a Nupi Shumang Leela. It is performed only by women. It is so there are two variants: Nupa Shumang Leela, men; Nupi Shumang Leela, women. Okay, so this is about it. This is about it. Now, moving on to next article. India ranks 93 on corruption perception index. So basically, guys, there are questions that have come in prelims examination on reports, etc. Report, who releases a particular report. So questions do come. So today we are going to discuss corruption perception index 2023 that has just been released. So corruption perception index 2023, what it does, it ranks the countries on the basis of perceived corruption that is prevailing in those particular countries in public sector. Now, when we talk about this corruption perception index, it is released annually by Transparency International. It is released annually by Transparency International. What is Transparency International? It is a global civil society organization which surveys the countries on the basis of the corruption prevalence. Now, in the corruption perception index, find data is taken data is taken from 13 external sources such as World Bank, World Bank, World Economic Forum, private risk consulting companies, think tanks, etc. Here, this particular, and the score is given to every country. Score is given to any country. Now the score is between 0 to 100. Score is between 0 to 100. 0 means highly corrupt. 0 means highly corrupt. 100 means very clean. 100 means very clean. And this corruption perception index, it ranks 180 countries. 180 countries. Fine. Okay. Also, one more thing, that the views are of expert people, not of common public. Are of expert people, not of common public. Now, what has happened? India has been ranked at 93 out of 180 countries, and India has been given the score of 39. India has been given the score of 39. Now, when we talk about corruption perception index, it provides this particular thing. It provides this particular thing, that global average score is 43. Global average score is 43, which has stayed same for 12 years. Fine, global average score is 43. Now, who is top performing country? Denmark has been the top performing country, and for 6 consecutive year, it is a top performing. Poorest rank country is Somalia. Somalia has ranked last, and apart from Somalia, other countries which are at the bottom are Venezuela, Syria, South Sudan, Yemen. Now, India has got 93 rank, and it is tied with Maldives, Kazakhstan, Lesotho. These countries also got a 93 rank. When we talk about India's neighbor, Pakistan, it scored 29, rank of 133. China scored 42, rank of 76. Now, absolute scores, etc., are not that much important, but little bit of an idea you should have. So this is about it. Now, moving on to the next article. Unlocking the science of e-ink displays, why we believe they must catch on. So this article is from Indian Express. Fine. And the article is talking about the e-ink displays. E-ink displays. Now, e-ink display is not a new technology. It is not a new technology. So basically, what are the e-ink displays? These e-ink displays are the type of specialized type of displays that are used in reading devices such as Kindle. So you might have seen a Kindle. Now, when we talk about these e-ink devices, okay, or e-ink display, this particular technology was developed in 1990 at MIT. And right now, this particular technology is owned by e-ink Corporation. Now, how these e-ink displays work? So basically, there will be micro capsules. there will be microcapsules. And these microcapsules contain charged black and white ink particles. Charged black and white ink particles. There will be negatively charged white particles and positively charged black particles. And what will happen? What will happen when electrical charge will be applied? Electrical charge will be applied. Basically, black and white color patterns will develop on the screen, which will give you a picture. Let me show you here. So here I have this particular Kindle device. Here I have this particular Kindle device. This is e-ink display. Okay. So basically what is happening? Basically here black and white particles, they are lighting up. They are lighting up to create a particular imagery, Now, when we talk about these e-ink displays, this particular displays, they reflect like a paper. Okay, now understand this thing. Paper does not has any backlight. If you have light, you will be able to read what is written on the paper. If you don't have light in the room, you cannot read the paper. Why? Because paper reflects the light, and by that the visibility is done. Now understand this thing. Today we have modern devices such as mobile phone, laptops, tablets. These devices have their own backlight, and because of that particular thing, you can read them even in the dark. But these these e-ink displays, what they do, rather than having their own backlight, they reflect the light like a paper. Fine. So it is easier on the eye. Also, guys, understand this particular thing, that as there is no backlight, what will happen? They need not to refresh at after every second. They need not to refresh. Because of that particular thing, they don't need much of energy. Only when you will, for example, you are, let's say, reading a particular book here. Now, basically, in this particular book, you see that this white and black particles, they have white and black particles because of electrical charge that is applied. They have created one particular pattern, that is this particular text. Now, till the time I will not change this particular page, they will not consume any electricity. Fine, because backlight is not there. Fine, whatever is visible here, it is visible because they are reflecting the natural light that is there in the room. So because of that, they are very easy to read. Also, they don't cause a strain on the eye, and they consume very much less electricity or very much less charge. In one charge, you can use these particular devices for 30 to 40 days. 30 to 40 days you can use these particular devices. Okay. Now, advantages: low power consumption, reduced eye strain, but downside is that slower refresh rate. You cannot see some video, etc. type of these things. Low refresh rate, color limitations. Okay, color limitation, and they are high in cost. Display technologies have become very cheap, but still they are comparatively high. Okay, and beyond the mobile devices, reading devices, they are being used on the bus stop as a display. They are used on the shelves. They are used in the menus. So usability is huge. And one very important thing is that it has matte surface. Also, guys, basically in the bright sunlight, LCD displays, they face a limitation that the visibility will be reduced in the bright light, but their visibility is not impacted by bright light. As you will see a paper in bright light, they will look like that only. Okay, so this is e-ink. So guys, recently what actually happened, one company, they have announced a new type of mobile phone, minimal phone, which they say that we are going to develop it on the e-ink display. So this technology is in news, and often the questions on such technologies have been asked in the examination. So that is all about it. Korean Peninsula article already we have discussed. Now let's take mapping for today. So today we are going to take the mapping of Kyrgyzstan. Why? Because recently what happened? Exercise Khanjar was conducted between India and Kyrgyzstan. Okay. Now let's see the mapping. Let's see mapping. So here we have Kyrgyzstan. Now countries neighboring Kyrgyzstan is Kazakhstan, towards the north. Then here we have Uzbekistan, then Tajikistan, China. Okay. So Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, China. Okay. So if you go clockwise manner, then Kazakhstan, China, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. So these are the countries. Now when we talk about Central Asia, in Central Asia we have 5 countries. In Central Asia we have 5 countries. Which 5 countries are there? Number 1 is Kazakhstan. Number 2 is Kyrgyzstan. Number 3 is Uzbekistan. Number 4 is Tajikistan. And number 5 is Turkmenistan. Number 5 is Turkmenistan. Okay. So these 5 countries we have in Central Asia. Okay. Now, moving on. Let's talk about the important geographical aspects of Kyrgyzstan. So basically, guys, here we have Himalayan mountains. Then in the north, we have Kunlun Shan mountains. And then we have Tian Shan mountains. Now, Tian Shan mountains, they are located in Kyrgyzstan. Here, Tian Shan mountain are located. And basically, the mountain ranges of Pamir Not. Fine, Pamir Not. Pamir, it is called as the roof of the world. So, mountain ranges that are radiating from Pamir Not, they are there in the Kyrgyzstan. Okay. Also, guys, when we talk about the Kyrgyzstan, here we have Lake Isikkul. Now, when we talk about the Lake Isikkul happens to be one of the biggest freshwater lake, and there is also Fargana Valley. There is also the Fargana Valley. Now, when we talk about Fargana Valley is shared by Fargana Valley. Now, the Fargana Valley, it is shared between Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Okay. Kyrgyzstan, when we talk about, this is a landlocked country because you have seen that it does not have direct access to ocean or sea. Neighbors already we have seen. Lake Issyk-Kul, it is one of the world's largest alpine lake, and lies in the northeastern part. Now, when we talk about Kyrgyzstan, recently Kyrgyzstan got independence in 1990 from Soviet Union. Earlier it was the part of the USSR, and it is referred to as Central Asia's only democracy. And in past, there are political protests that has happened, which led to removal of the sitting president and tulip protest and melon protest, or revolution and melon revolution. If a question comes, where did it happen? It happened in Kyrgyzstan. Okay, Kyrgyzstan. Also, Kyrgyzstan has supported India on Kashmir issue, as well as in UNSC. India wants a permanent membership in UNSC, and Kyrgyzstan supports it. So this is, guys, all about it. So with this, we come to an end to this particular session. Guys, I hope that you are liking the video, and if you like the video, you can see the amount of effort that it takes every day to prepare these notes from scratch. So we need to prepare these notes from scratch, and then making the video every day in the morning, it actually takes a lot of effort. So we would love if you like the video, if you comment on the video, and the share initiative with your friends. Thank you so much. Now we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.